Today is about even more thrillers with the best twists. Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, and today is another leg of the series, part 3, I think, of thrillers with the best twists, right? I think I've done 2 parts to this already, and they seem to be really popular, but I have some unpopular opinions today. Not necessarily unpopular, but like I've noticed that these 2 of the books on the list today that I'm going to talk about have gotten like a lot of hate in the last like couple years. So yeah, I think this might be interesting. I don't know. I guess if you hate them, leave a comment, but nobody ever comments. So before we get into it, make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know when I'm posting. I post every week, and all we do on this channel is talk about books. So if you like listening to people talk about books, here I am every week doing just that for you. So what makes a book end up on the twistiest list, right? On the twisty list, that's what this is. It's if I can't stop thinking about it, right? If I still look back on this book and think, man, that book, I couldn't guess the ending. I didn't see that coming. If a book makes me say that, like, so long after I've read it, then yeah, it goes on the twisty list, and that's what we're talking about today. Now, are all 3 of these books the best thrillers I've ever read? No, they're not the best thrillers I've ever read. Did they have good twists? Yes. And 2 of the books today I would call more like gateway books. So if you're really into thrillers, like you've been reading thrillers a long time, that probably won't be for you because they're kind of, what would you say, like elementary beginner thrillers for beginners, right? So if you are a beginner or you're new and you want to like get some recs, like ease your toes in or whatever, 2 of these books would probably be pretty good for you. Okay, yeah, I think that's enough. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. First one, We Were Liars by Lockhart. I told y'all, some of y'all may come for me for this book because this very much is like a beginner thriller book, but I read this a long time ago. Like it was probably right when I got back into reading as an adult, like when my life kind of slowed down enough for me to like pick up a reading hobby again. This was one of the early thrillers that I read, and I remember being really blown away by this book because I hadn't read thrillers in so long. That this was, like I said, a really good introductory level thriller. Or if you're like a young adult, I think this is a really good like stepping stone between young adult and adult thrillers, you know, because I think the themes are really easy to understand and follow. There's nothing like really too complicated about this book. It is a little predictable, but I didn't predict the ending. So yeah, I know a lot of people have really like intense feelings about this book, about like, oh my god, it's garbage. Like, I don't think it's garbage. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't recommend it to you though. But I would say it is for beginners in the thriller genre. So, premise, we have a young girl who is a teen, and her family owns like a very prestigious like home on a private island. Like there's a lot of class themes in this book, okay? And every summer she gets together with some of her family and then some of the local people. I think they're local people, and they form a little friend group, and they call themselves the Liars. And where we're starting in the story is a new summer. She's about to go to the private island for her family vacation, and we know something happened last summer. We don't know what, and we're just slowly building up to what happened last summer between the friends. Something pretty big and something involving a lot of lies. So like I said, lots of really easy to digest themes in this book, and a lot of really good starter themes. Like I said, we have a lot of like classism and stuff happening in this book, as well as some other easily digestible themes that aren't too, I don't know what you would call like risque maybe. There's a little bit of a love interest in this book. Yeah, it really worked for me. Like I said, as a beginner thriller, it really worked for me. I followed along really easily. It's very short, so you can literally probably read it in one sitting. That's how short it is. The ending got me. It really did. Like, I really just didn't see it coming. And if you're a really, like, I don't know what you would call that, like an intuitive reader, or if you're able to like guess the endings. This probably wasn't that surprising, but if you've been with my channel a minute, you know that I'm not one of those people. I'm not very good at guessing endings. I don't put a lot of work into the book while I'm reading it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm really just there to have a good time. I'm not like bending over backwards to put pieces together. Unless it's like glaringly obvious what's going on, I'm probably not going to catch on to it. So, but if you're one of those people that can put stuff together pretty easily, this might be a little bit, you know, underwhelming for you. But like I said, good gateway book. The next book on the list is Swimming Lessons by Claire Fuller. I also read this a long time ago. Like, I think this was one of the first books we did with my book club, and we started that almost 7 years ago. So this one is coming from the archives. And this is another one, like, I think about this book all the time. I really do. Like, and I really didn't see the ending coming. I really didn't. It just blew me away. So we're starting with a little family that lives off the beach. I'm pretty sure this is a British book, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it is. The mom, Ingrid, I think is her name, she writes a letter saying that she's leaving. But she leaves it very ambiguous there about what leaving means. And she's gone. And they kind of assume that she killed herself for a really, really long time by like diving into the water or whatever, because she used to get up and go swimming every morning. And it was kind of like she alluded it to that. And something like 14 years later, 15 years later, something like that, the husband swears that he sees her walking outside a bookshop right down the street from her house. And then when he goes home, he looks through some of the books in the home, and he starts finding clues that Ingrid left behind, detailing why she left, where she went, why she decided to do it. All these things, like little clues left behind. And then the two daughters get involved, and they all start piecing together what really happened to the wife and like the true dynamics of the family, like behind closed doors. It was very interesting. Like I said, I read this a long time ago, and I still think about this book. I think that the way that Claire Fuller put this book together was very interesting, very intricate, and I think she did a really good job just kind of making you second guess everything that happened. Like throughout the whole book, you're looking back and you're like, did I misinterpret that? Did I interpret it correctly? It could have gone this way, or it could have gone that way. It was really, really fun, really interesting, and the ending really, really got me. So I really liked this book, and this is definitely one I would highly recommend. Okay, I didn't warn you guys how short today's video was gonna be, but like, I'm really cold. For some reason, the heater upstairs did not get turned on, and I'm like really cold in my office. And yeah, it's really easy to talk about books you really like, and so I guess we're just kind of going really fast today. Anyway, the last book on the list is Black Chalk by Christopher J. Yates. I've talked about this book on my channel before. I can't remember where, but I'll put it in the cards. So this is another one that people are really iffy on, because it's not the best. It's not the best writing, okay? But like I said, I read this a long time ago. This was probably another one that was even before Swimming Lessons, so it might have been like 8 or 9 years ago when I read this. I still think about it. This book messes with me so much. Was it the best thriller I ever read? No, it really wasn't. Like, it was kind of dry a little bit, and I felt like there were definite plot holes in this book that never really got resolved. But was it twisty? Yes. And it had the vibes, okay? So we're set in Oxford, and it's basically a group of friends that are going to Oxford together, and they start playing high stakes truth or dare, which, you know, at its core is a pretty simple game with pretty simple rules, and in general nobody gets hurt. But somebody does. And then years go by. The gang like separates after this. Everything happens. Years go by, and they all get together for one last round of high stakes truth or dare, basically. They call it something else. Maybe it's like truth and consequences. I don't know. It's British. But yeah, this book, the opening chapter of this book messed with me like right away. I remember picking it up from the library. Isn't that crazy? Like some of the things that you can like recall so vividly. I walked into the library, and the library I went to actually doesn't exist anymore. Isn't that wild? I walked into the library, and it was sitting on a little display shelf, like right near the front. And I just saw it, and I was like, that looks interesting. And I literally didn't even read the back. I didn't even read the back. I just put it in my little basket thing that I had, and I went about my day, and I checked it out and read it. So high points and low points for this book. High points, okay, I definitely think this is another one of those gateway thrillers like We Were Liars, whereas it will get you in the door to dark academia, like those academic vibes. Definitely here. Are they the best academic vibes? I've read better. So I think that if you're just getting into that genre, you kind of want to like mix of dark academia and thriller. I think this has a decent mixture that pretty much anybody would enjoy. The concepts of the book are really easy to digest. It's not complicated at all. And it does have some good twists and turns along the way. The downsides to this book, like I said, it's very simple. Not a lot of depth happening here, okay? And that's just across the board, not a lot of depth. And it's very easy. It's very easy. Now, some people don't like that with thrillers. Some people like to be, you know, pushed and pulled around and like lots of red herrings and stuff like that. This will not have that at all. And I've heard from other people that the academia vibes are not the best, which I agree with. They're not the best. Like I said, I would call this more like a gateway to see if you're interested in dark academia. If you're interested in that kind of a genre, I think this kind of opens the door for you to like give you a little glimpse of it. And if you find out you do like that, there's lots of other books that are way better that have great dark academia vibes. I think this is just lukewarm on that front. But yeah, I still think about this book. I still think about it. It really got me. It really got me. Okay, that's it. That's all for today. Like I said, this is like super short. I should have prefaced it and told you guys I was gonna be like pushing through it pretty quickly. But like, We Were Liars, I feel like everybody knows about that book. It's so popular. Like a lot of people recommend it, and then a lot of people will like bash it. So I feel like it's kind of made its rounds in both ends of that. If you haven't read it and you're new to thrillers, you could check it out and probably enjoy it. I would definitely say if you're a seasoned thriller reader, just skip it. It's probably not going to be for you. Swimming Lessons, like I said, that book just stuck with me. I always think about that book. And I think the vibes for that book were just, I don't know. It was very like moody. Does that make sense when I say that? I don't know. It just had this melancholiness to it that I loved that. I don't know. But you know, I'm a sad person, so I'm a naturally sad person, I guess you would say. And so that kind of just felt right for me. Black Chalk, like I said, I read it so long ago and I still think about it. I read it so long ago and I still think about it. Like, that to me means it was a success. Like if I can recall back to it like all these years later. But yeah, I definitely would call that one a gateway as well. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know when I'm posting. Post every week. And yeah, let me know some of your favorite thrillers in the comment section. I started putting together my list, like my filming schedule or whatever for January and February, and I'm pretty excited about what's coming out. So I hope you guys will stick around for that. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!